I took lots of notes as I was spending some time in reflection, so I'm gonna try and move through them in a way that's like somewhat organized, even though my thoughts are all over the place as usual. But for the first one, thinking back to the teacher identity project and just teacher identity in general, I think something that I'm discovering and that I discovered especially while doing that project was how much my experience as a student is shaping my experience and future experiences as a teacher. I know that we've talked about that a ton, just like in the critical reflection piece of the lesson planning or like spending some time in reflection. I had really wonderful experiences with my teacher, and so I'm thankful that that's shaping the teacher that I want to be, the teacher that I am, I should say. But that's why I wanted to be a teacher in the first place, is because I had such wonderful teachers. And so when I was making the teacher identity project, I was realizing that all these things that I want to do are things that have been done for me while I was a student. And the biggest part of that is just like my teachers cared about me as a person, and they knew me and they looked forward to seeing me and teaching me. And I always appreciated that. And so something I'm curious about is just being able to like practically do that for my students. I'm sure that it's not half as easy as they made it look. So I'm excited to be thrown into a group of kids and figure out how I can just love them and care about them the best that I possibly can. And then for the next piece, which is about feedback and growth, something that I'm pretty proud of from this semester is just like the vast difference between my writing lesson plan and my reading lesson plan. I feel like they're quite different in terms of just like where I was at in lesson planning. They're both nowhere near perfect, but I just feel like I'm a lot prouder of the reading lesson plan because I was able to apply a lot of really helpful feedback, which I applied to the writing lesson plan later. But I just think that it was really cool to see, even though they were written in like within I think like 2 or so weeks of each other, just that big change. It was encouraging to me. It made me feel like, okay, I'm learning a lot and I'm growing a lot, even though maybe it didn't feel like that always, that I was growing a lot. I was able to see that very like tangibly between my lesson plans. And also I was just thinking about when reflecting on that, just the beauty of the mentor teacher student teacher relationship and just how thankful I am to have teachers like you guys and a mentor teacher in the future just like over my shoulder and telling me like this is good, this isn't going to work, because I've been there and I've done that. I really value that kind of feedback because I haven't. Like I am the first person to say I've never done this before. Please tell me what I can fix. And so that's really helpful to me, and I look forward to that when I get a mentor teacher, which is really exciting. And I was also thinking about just like planning alongside someone and how helpful that can be. I think one of our first readings from the semester, I think it was Kittle and Gallagher, but I could be confusing it with another one. They talked about like planning alongside each other and being able to say like, no, I've tried that in my classroom and it went horribly. I would do it this way instead. And just how wonderful a relationship like that could be. I had never considered that before when writing lessons, that my teachers might work together in doing so. And then for part three, something I'm learning about teaching English is that it is ever changing, which to me at first thought is kind of horrifying. But it's also very exciting, and it tells me that my job is going to be fun and probably never boring because things are always changing. I say that because I think that a lot of the texts that we've read this semester have been, not all of them, but a lot of them critiques of the way that English is traditionally taught, or maybe even the way that it was taught to me, like 5 paragraph essay writing, um, popcorn reading, all these kinds of things are like things that we've all done, right? Things that most people have done, but that's changing. We're realizing that there are better ways to do things. And so I'm curious about if there are things that we're doing now that one day we're going to realize, oh, that's not the best way to do that. Let's try it this way. Which is scary because I am a by the book person, no pun intended. But it's also very exciting because it's like, yeah, it keeps things interesting. And then for my three big ideas for this semester, these ideas don't exactly tie to any of the like particular texts that we've read or class discussions that we've had, but are just really three overarching things that I think have really stuck with me from this class, things that I've gained from this class. And the first one I wrote down is lean on your fellow teachers. I wrote that with you guys in mind, but I also wrote that with the cohort in mind. I think just spending more time together and being out in the field together has really made me think a lot about the importance of surrounding yourself with people who know what you're going through and also just like hopefully are can uplift you at a time that maybe you don't really feel super uplifted. And I have found that in the cohort. And I've also found that in the encouragement that I've received from you guys. And so I'm thankful for that. And I look forward to hopefully doing that when I'm in a new community of teachers one day. And then the second one that I wrote is the center of our profession is the student, not the discipline. I was laughing writing that because I started college as an English major, and when I decided that I wanted to get a job, I switched to English education. And so I was kind of like more focused on the discipline part. But then as soon as I stepped foot in the field, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And it's because of the student. It's not because of the discipline, although the discipline is great. And then I wrote, good teaching cannot and should not be done without thoughtful reflection, which we've done a lot of this semester and I'm thankful for. And I got to speed up. My two questions are, how can I plan a lesson in the most effective and time efficient way? Still carefully and thoughtfully, but maybe not spending hours and hours and hours on a single lesson. And then how can I pivot and keep my cool when a lesson falls apart? I'm sure that I'll probably get experience and practice with that in the field because it's bound to happen. It happens to everybody. So I want to be able to pivot. And then one goal that I have for just like the upcoming semester is I want to go into my student teaching expectantly and with an open mind. We talked a lot about that last night when we got a panel from the graduating class, which was really great. But even before that, I was thinking like, I really just want to go in and soak everything up and not go in with any expectations, but just like learn and learn and learn and learn and be with students. And that's what I'm most excited for. Thank you guys for a great semester. I'll see you in the fall.